Hello, you guys. We are going to dive into calories in and calories out and learn how your body works when it comes to this. So you fully understand the process of why we gain weight, why we lose weight, and some different aspects on it, and some different ways that it can be affected, because it's not just always calories in versus calories out. So let's dive into this using a slide for visual. You can also just listen to this as we go. Okay, so calories in, calories out, macros and calories. So just a reminder, we've been over some of this inside the nutrition coaching sessions, but a reminder of what calories are and macros are, because this is our energy. Energy is another word for calories. So protein holds 4 calories per gram. Carbohydrates hold 4 calories per gram. Fats hold 9 calories per gram. And alcohol converts to 7 calories per gram, whether that says it on the packet or not. Okay, so energy balance is another word for calories. So think of calories as the energy which we need, right? Your energy balance is a balance of the calories consumed through eating or drinking compared to the calories burned through physical activity and other ways that we also burn calories, just by living, just by being, by sitting and doing nothing. We need calories, we need energy on a daily basis. Even if we're in a coma in a hospital bed, our body is utilizing energy to just survive. For our brain, for our heart, for the way our blood pumps through our body, all of that we need calories, right? So let's dive into the basics. Our body uses food that we consume as energy for fuel. So think of a car, putting petrol in the car. When there's no petrol, the car doesn't work so well, or not at all. So we really need to be looking at nutrition for our fuel and our performance. It's not just what we eat, it's also the quality of what we eat, whether our car is going to be a well-oiled machine or it's going to clunk along in an unhappy manner, right? So it also provides us with vitamins, minerals, nutrients to help our body function efficiently. How you feel, your energy, your sleep, your hair growth, your skin, not just our body weight. It's so much more than that. So if we want to make any changes to our body composition, so if we want to lose weight or gain muscle or be leaner or more toned, as some would say, even maintain our current physique as we get older, it's harder. Our hormones change, so there's a lot that comes into this. We have to pay attention to our nutritional intake. It's essential, and this means not under eating as well. So fat loss essentials, just let's dive into this and we'll go over some other aspects as well. To lose fat, we have to be in a calorie deficit. So you know when you're in a deficit, when you feel some reasonable levels of hunger between meals, you'll start to get hungry before it's time to eat just. You'll start to feel and see results. This is if you are in a calorie deficit. Your clothes will start to fit differently. And we always focus on the process, not the outcome, one day at a time. So focus on what we can control, what we can eat, how we can do this, but also loads of patience in there, because it will take longer than you think. Often I have clients come to me that undereat, and we actually have to get your metabolism functioning properly and get you up to a maintenance calorie before you can head into a fat loss phase, or you won't lose fat. So you must start from healthy foundations first, which means the reverse diet, which means your metabolism has to be working, your hormones will need to be balanced. You have to be in a good place with your mindset and your habits and behaviors before we can head into a successful calorie deficit, which is often why if you're under eating, you won't shift weight, because of metabolic adaptation. Your metabolism will adapt to the low calories you're feeding it. So then we need to get you into a calorie deficit. We have to balance our food choices to get the vitamins, the nutrients that we need. We have to exercise strategically and efficiently. This doesn't mean hard and fast. This doesn't mean cardio. It just means movement that you enjoy and can stick to, and that also fits your goals. If you go back into the group, we got just a couple of weeks ago, I did a training on this. You've got to do all of these things consistently, and it's not just energy in, energy out. It is your sleep, it is your stress, it is the quality of your food. It's all sorts that comes into consideration. But today we're going to focus on the energy in, energy out, so you truly understand that. We need a calorie deficit. we need the food balance, we need strategic exercise, and we need consistency for successful fat loss. So the three components of energy expenditure. Oh, actually, I should pause this and put another visual in it. I am going to do this. All right, I'm back. Not that you know I went anywhere. Okay, so the three components of energy expenditure. One, we have our base metabolic rate. Now, I shared a training on your metabolism, and we'll dive more into that because it's really important if you know, the health of your metabolism on how much energy you will expend. If you've got a slow, sluggish, trashed metabolism, it will be working really slowly. So you won't be burning much energy. But if we have a healthy one, it will be burning lots, right? So our base metabolic rate is the energy required to sustain our metabolism. This is what we're doing when we're sitting at home doing nothing, or how we process our food, and just the general, our baseline energy that we're using over a day. Then we've got the thermic effect of food. So this is energy expended that we're converting our food into nutrients in our body. When we eat, it takes energy to convert our food and use all the nutrients that needs to be used. Then we have the energy required for physical activity. So this includes NEAT, which is I'll show you in a minute, and just our planned exercise, our non-planned exercise, how many steps we do in a day, generally how we move. So we've got energy in from the food and drink we eat, and we've got energy out from our metabolic rate, the thermic effect of food, and also the energy we use with physical activity. Makes sense? Energy in, energy out, which is why they use a scale. If we are having more calories than what we're burning, we will gain weight. If we're having less calories than what we're burning, we will lose if our metabolism's healthy. And if we're having the same, we'll maintain the same weight. So weight does not equal body composition, how much muscle versus fat you're actually burning, actually holding. So that's another discussion which we might get into. So our factors that influence our energy intake is our appetite. It's also our environment, our economical, our political, all of that stuff matters as well. Financial, the quality of the food we're eating, all of that. It's our metabolized energy. So the foods that are absorbed versus not absorbed, the health of your metabolism. It is also like satisfaction. Are we binging? Are we not binging? That our relationship with food, that area, and our mindset, stress, all of that. So that matters when it comes to energy intake, because if we're stressed, we undereat or overeat. Maybe we have a different perceived control. This is where disorders and stuff come into play, all sorts, right? So it's not as straightforward as energy in, energy out, which is why I like to coach in general, long-term, ongoing, because you can get a meal plan or go into a calorie deficit with anyone and you may be frustrated why you're not seeing results. And we have to take into consideration individual circumstances, right? So factors that influence energy output, the calories we burn. So energy is calories, right? In versus out is our base metabolic rate, how much we're using at rest. And this is controlled by the health of your metabolism, how much food you are or are not eating, and also your your movement, and also your muscle mass. The more muscle mass we have, the healthier and better our metabolic rate works. So that's why strength training protein, we all go on about that, right? It's that's what will matter. Energy out is exercise that we're doing, the cost of it, how much it's burning and using. Exercise activity. So this is, are we standing? Are we fidgeting? How far are we working our parking our car away? What are our overall steps for the day? Non-planned exercise, and the thermic effect of food. So the cost. So if we think of a bank account, our calories in, calories out, how much money we're putting in versus the cost of things, the cost of our energy used, the cost of what food we're eating, the cost of our metabolic rate, the cost of our energy, all plays and influences how we use it, whether we lose weight or not, and what our body composition is. So we've got planned exercise. I really wanted to show you visually what this looks like, the components of expenditure. We know what we eat and what is coming in matters, but this is our total daily expenditure, what it's made up of, our TDEE. So we have EAT, which is our exercise activity thermogenesis. This is going to the gym. This is going on your hill walk. This is going for your 30-minute walk. This is yoga, Pilates, all that planned exercise that you have. So as you can see, people go nuts over thinking they have to go to the gym 20 million times a week, but it's a very small percentage of your expenditure. We want to be going to the gym to build muscle and for our mood and our mindset and to be our healthiest self, not to burn calories, right? Because it is a small piece of the puzzle, but we want it for other things. Maybe we want to get fit and run a marathon. Maybe we want to do yoga to get mobile. Maybe it's because it helps us manage our ADHD. Maybe lifting weights helps you feel like a badass, right? So that is exercise activity thermogenesis. Then we have the thermic effect of food. So that's about 10% of the energy we burn. Then we have NEAT, which is quite a big part, 15 to 25%, I think. Non-resting energy expenditure. We get that up by parking our car further, walking away from your desk every half an hour, by not sitting down as much, not watching as much TV. I'm at a standing desk, standing instead of sitting. That's me getting my NEAT up, doing different things, vacuuming, playing with your kids more, all of that stuff, non-planned exercise. It's the movement you do when it's not at the gym. It's a huge part of the day. So just focusing on getting your steps up, moving a little bit more, not sitting as much is going to be a massive difference in the energy you're using. Then, of course, we have the base, our BMR, basal metabolic rate, right? So our BMR is huge. See how important that is to have a healthy metabolism. It's our resting energy expenditure and non-resting energy expenditure. So when we're doing nothing, when we're in a coma, we want a healthy BMR. Okay, so that's what burns the calories. Why do we gain weight? It's about energy balance, to put it simply. Also health implications, again, water retention, hormone changes, health issues, medication. We store fat when we consume too much calories, over and above what our body needs to maintain its current weight. We lose fat, we need to put our body into a calorie deficit to lose fat. This means consuming less calories and that our body needs to have in our current weight. It seems simple, but it's not always the case of just eating less. Consuming too less calories can hinder our fat loss progress and cause weight gain. Sounds crazy, but again, this is why it's important to have a coach and to troubleshoot what's going on for you personally. So too little is a 1,200 calorie diet, is an 800 calorie diet. The minimum you should be on is about 1,400 for a general person, general woman. Our body is primed to survive and adapt to its environment. So if you eat too little for too longer periods of time, your metabolism adapts to the lower intake, which means your metabolism is slowing down and you will store any excess calories for, to save your life, kind of thing. So a higher metabolism will be helping with the control of this. For this reason, it's crucial that we need to enter a fat loss phase by looking at how much calories you're having, first of all, getting to a healthy place, and then going into a fat loss phase. And I do mine in phases, not a big one that you can't sustain. So when we drop them too low, when we go into a calorie deficit or into a diet as such, your hormones are affected, your metabolism is affected, your energy is affected. So I prefer to do it slowly. Your mood, your focus, all of this can be affected. So if we do it slowly, your body has time to adjust. It's like adjusting to room temperature. If we hit a plateau or stall, we've still got room to move if we do it slowly rather than hard and fast. So the main goal of any fat loss phase is to be in a net energy deficit. So we want to maximize our calories while we're in this deficit, right? And not be eating too little, but also while maintaining muscle mass, because our muscle mass is what helps us with our tone and our shape and our strength and our functionality, being able to pick things up, play with our kids, all of that, but also how lean we are, how much fat we hold on our body and our metabolic rate. So consuming enough protein is really important. Fats and also carbohydrates, and paying attention to the ratio of these can be really helpful. And again, everybody's different here. So while calorie intake is important for fat loss, to achieve an improved body composition, so that lean and toned look that we all want, we need to look at more than just calories in, calories out. We have to pay attention to the macronutrient ratios, making sure you are getting enough protein, and not having too much carbs and not having too much fats. And this can be a game on people adapting differently to this as well. So manage your calories if you're serious about positive change about body composition. There are protocols for managing calories that you can adhere to over a period of time, and give it time. Finding a protocol that suits you is going to be the make or break of whether you reach your fitness goal, your fat loss goal, or you don't. It has to suit you and your lifestyle, not what someone else is doing, one that fits you. And there's lots of different methods and strategies, and it's important to find what is best for you to be able to maximize and adhere to the calculations that you need in the fat loss phase. So we might need to change intake when you hit a plateau in your progress. And we have to troubleshoot, and this is so hard to try and figure out on your own. So it really pays to stay under coaching. Doing it yourself can be a disservice, and it can be frustrating if you don't know and can't take all the pieces of a puzzle and put it all together yourself. It can be a bit too emotional. So here's some different ways of what we might do. We've got tracking. It's a great tool for managing calories. It's not for everyone though. It can be temporary, and you can use it at different stages throughout fat loss phases. It does create good food awareness of what you are actually eating, like truthfully. Weighing your food and knowing what you're actually consuming, you can get faster results. You can track just protein if you want to, and that's a really helpful way as well. You can get a weekly average, and that's what matters the most, not day to day as such. It's hard until it's not. You do get into a groove of it, and then also you can get into a groove of not doing it. It can be boring and tedious, and commitment with this is a must. I find it's pointless if you're not fully committed to tracking, but it is quite flexible. You can not be following a meal plan and be just going to hit your macronutrients, so it can be flexible. But ways to eat without tracking is being mindful and following gentle nutrition guidelines. So the macro balance 80-20 rule, if you're over 35 and battling with hormonal weight gain, I definitely would be looking at 90-10 rule. So 80% or 90% whole foods, 10 or 20% soul foods, or, condiments, stuff like that. Add extra veggies or salads to bulk up your meals, slow down and checking in on your hunger and fullness cues. Got heaps of separate trainings on this stuff. Remove distractions. So if you're inside Thrive, you've got access to the education hub with all on different training modules on all of this stuff. Eat more at home, be really present and remove distractions. Eat 2 to 4 balanced meals. I even say 2 to 6 balanced meals. It limits mindful snacking. Stick to meal structure, like a meal plan or a bit of a structure with your eating. Limit liquid calories, and find non-food ways to handle emotions. Again, I've got extra trainings on these depending on who and what is happening for you. Counting calories. With fat loss, we want to multiply your body weight by 2.2. So to get pounds, and then times it by 10 to 12, depending on your activity that you're currently doing. If you aren't as active, multiply it by 10. If you are more active, multiply it by 12. That would be to go into a deficit. If you want maintenance, you would multiply it by 14 or possibly 12, again, depending if you're active or not active. And if you want to gain muscle, you need to prioritize lifting weights and getting stronger. You would multiply your body weight in pounds by 16 to 18 to be in a calorie surplus, so you can grow muscle mass. At the lower end, 16, and at the higher end, if you're really into it, 18. So some basic calculations for you to start on. Then you would need to pivot and adapt as you go, depending how your body is, where your starting place is, and how your body's adapting. Okay, so we adjusting calories to avoid a plateau. Plateaus are normal. Expectations are that we put in the work and we have success. It doesn't work like that. We put in the work, it takes fucking longer than you think, and we have good days, bad days, good weeks, bad weeks. Our weight goes up and down and all around. But over time is what we want. We want to see success over time, not necessarily week to week. After 4 weeks of hitting your calories consistency, even on weekends, we assess your progress, right? I do fat loss phases for 4 to 6 weeks generally with clients. Are you making physical progress? Are your clothes fitting differently? Are you seeing changes? Are your measurements and photos changing? If you answered yes, keep the calories the same and keep going, and repeat the check-in every 2 weeks. If you've got a coach, we'll be doing that together. If you answered no, decrease calories by about 150 calories a day. Okay, I can focus on consistency over perfection. Here's some mantras for you. I do the best I can each day, and I focus on what I can control. My beliefs around fat loss are to establish healthy foundations, then a calorie deficit, and then comes habit and behavior change so I can sustain the weight loss. A word on plateaus. During a fat loss phase, we are bound to hit plateaus. A true plateau is when your metabolism has adapted to the calories it is taking in and the level of output you're doing. So this means we're constantly doing the same amount of in and like calories in versus calories out, and we can honestly say being consistent with your energy, it's really stored over time. I'm talking 3, 6, 8 weeks. You've found no changes whatsoever. A plateau is not when you're missing a workout or eating outside of your target. And it's not your measurements going up and down or your photos looking worse or you're looking bloated this week. That's not a plateau. It's not consistent, right? So in this case, we just need to stick with your plan and keep going, because we will have times where our body's bigger and smaller over 1 week or over 2 weeks. So it is over a long period of time that you see no changes at all. So often it's important to go on a diet break. With boosting plateaus, we look at your energy in versus energy out and how we can adapt it and do things slightly different. Sometimes there's new devils that we have to input, but it's all different. Sometimes a diet break can be super helpful, where we stop dieting, we go into a maintenance phase, we relax a little bit. Psychology shows that we need to relax our brain, our mental capacity, also physically. And a diet break is really good to do probably every 6 to 8 weeks. A calorie deficit has stress on our body, giving it a chance. Also, it's a good evaluation on your habits and behaviors, what you've learned and kept during this time. So you can go on a diet break for 1 to 2 weeks and see how you go. Your body's not a robot, so it's really important that you can give your body the rest it deserves. And it all depends, the length of a break will depend on the consistency that you've been dieting for. So eating more on a break is really good for your body, the relationship with food, but also the health of your body. It will give it it'll go, yay, yum. We're not in a deficit. We're working harder. You'll have more energy. You'll sleep better. All of that stuff happens, right? So if you need to take a break, if you, it prevents decreased metabolism and muscle mass. It keeps you better adhered for long-term results. It reduces the urge to overeat or binge. It lets hormones return to normal levels. It allows you to plan for social events and holidays. It increases training intensity and improves recovery. And signs you need to stop dieting is your mood or your cognitive issues are decreased. You are more stressful, moody, irritable, brain fog, you're plateaued. You have stopped complying to the fat loss phase that you're on, and you're frequently overeating. You're less consistent. You're not tracking. You're taking extra bites, licks, and tastes. You impairs the quality of your life in the season. You're not being social. It's creating conflict. You've got a lack of desire. There's increased demand. You've got a poor body image. Your appetite have changed. You're feeling fatigued, extreme hunger, excess cravings and guilt. Your hormones feeling imbalanced. Your sex hormones, your digestive issues, lack of sex drive, loss of period, poor sleep. You've stored in your progress, and you're having training issues. You're not as strong or fit or feeling as good. You're not performing as well. These can all be really good signs of taking a diet break. Okay, so that is it. Calories in versus calories out, all the things to take into consideration. We dive into different aspects of this. I hope it helps you understand your body a little bit more and why it is really important to understand calories in versus calories out and how a fat loss phase might look. So any questions on that, please let me know. I hope this was helpful for you today.